Now that Charles Xavier is broken bad after the Hellfire Gala, does this mean that we'll see the return of Sinister X? Just maybe. What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm gonna be talking about Immortal X-Men number 16, written by Kieran Gillen, with art by Lucas Wernick, and color by David Curiel. Now, I know some people are probably going to want me to talk about what's going on with Destiny. I don't really think there's a lot to say there. I feel like what Destiny is going through is quite normal. I know a lot of people I've seen in the comments are really down on Destiny right now, but the truth of the matter is that she's not wrong. I think people need to put themselves in a more empathetic position and realize that she feels the way she feels because she legitimately believes that Mystique is dead. She doesn't know the same information we know, and her prophetic abilities have, for all intents and purposes, been cut off. She can't see anything past the blinding white, because this goes back to the white hot room. Every time that Destiny kept saying that she couldn't see anything past this blinding whiteness, it was because of the white hot room. And considering that that's exactly where she is right now, she doesn't have the information that we have as readers who are reading every damn X book. So I feel like people need to have a little bit more empathy with her as a character. I like what they're doing with Destiny here as far as that goes, and that she is trying to hold Mother Righteous accountable, despite the fact that Mother Righteous has given them access to resurrection again. That is also a cool thing that's happening here. So I don't want to minimize that at all either, but there's just really nothing to say there, because what's going on with Charles Xavier and Sebastian Shaw is what I think is a bit more important than any of that. And what I wanted to talk about there is just the fact that, well, I know a lot of people are going to want me to talk about the Sebastian Shaw having an Iron Man armor. Yep, he's fresh to death in the Iron Man armor with the purple drip. That's cool. I don't care about that part. What I care about is the conversation that Charles and Sebastian Shaw have telepathically, because something very interesting happens there that I'm wondering what is the plan here, because there's different writers on this book versus that book. Kieran Gillen's writing this one, Jerry Duggan's writing the core X-Men stuff as well as the Iron Man series, where the thing that I want to talk about is mentioned the most. There's a point where Emma Frost clues Charles Xavier in on the fact that Wilson Fisk is now in charge of the Hellfire Club. However, the wording that Charles Xavier uses is that Fisk stole it. Now, honestly, this could be a reach, but part of me wonders, and I want to say right now, I don't think this is a writing inconsistency. I think this is something going on character-wise. Part of me is wondering if Emma Frost is either A, telling Charles that Wilson Fisk stole the Hellfire Club in an effort to maybe give Charles misinformation that could, help him more easily get Sebastian Shaw to jump over to his side of things, or B, maybe Charles just misinterpreted what Emma Frost said. I mean, Emma signed it over to him, so that, like I said, it's kind of weird there. I don't really know what Kieran Gillen's playing at here, but I don't think anything is done unintentionally. That's kind of one of those deals where I've talked about this before in a previous video. I'm not going to rehash it in its entirety, but once again, it's Chekhov's gun 101. If the audience's attention is drawn to a gun in Act 1, by the time we get to Act 3, that gun needs to have smoke coming out of it. But no, what I'm more focused on here is the fact that Emma, she has leaked to Charles some passwords and passcodes and internal information from the Hellfire Club that can help Sebastian Shaw get his way back in. Now, ultimately, I think it's safe to say that Emma Frost might be at least vaguely aware of what is going on with Sebastian Shaw, and is very likely just putting out misinformation, but misinformation with just enough truth to it that Charles can use it to manipulate Sebastian Shaw into coming back over to their side. Now, I don't think Charles has any illusions about what Sebastian Shaw is representing here. While it's not explicitly or openly stated to anyone that Sebastian Shaw is 100% thrown over the Orcas, I think word at the very least has gotten around that Sebastian Shaw isn't exactly down with mutant kind, and if he's openly trying to attack Charles Xavier, then clearly he has probably thrown his lot with Orcus. I think that would be obvious to anyone with eyes in this universe. What I like here is that he's able to manipulate Sebastian Shaw into seeing his way of thinking, and ends up getting Sebastian Shaw to turn on Selene. Now, I know the dialogue here is probably going to be a little bit of, confusing to some people, but what is going on here is that it's not that Sebastian Shaw is freaking out because Charles Xavier is in his mind. He knows exactly what's going on. He is putting on a play for Selene, because Selene is not really paying attention to what's going on right now, at least not as well as Selene probably normally would. And this is why he's feigning as though his mind has been taken over, and that's why he just waylaid Selene with a full payload of missiles. Something that, honestly, I'm shocked didn't kill her, considering how easily Hope killed her in just the second issue of Immortal X-Men, but that's neither here nor there. Whatever it was he used, they must have been more like concussion grenades or concussion missiles or whatever, because it only knocked her out. He doesn't seem to be interested in killing Selene because it seems like his attraction to her has returned for some odd reason. I mean, I get it, she's a baddie, but you know, she also is a baddie who will kill you. Right now, Charles and Sebastian Shaw are technically working together, despite the fact that Sebastian Shaw is wholesale working with Orchis. If that seems like such a weird prospect, it really shouldn't be, because Sebastian is a guy who believes in the concept of cream.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
He knows the cash rules, so that's what he cares about. Anything that's gonna make him richer, anything that's gonna keep him in money and power, he's gonna go with it. It has been clear since day one with Sebastian Shaw, even going back to when he first was brought onto the Quiet Council, and even now that he's betrayed Krakoa, that all he cares about at the end of the day is wealth and power, and whoever can get that to him and for him, and especially in an expeditious fashion, that is who he's going to work with. And right now, Orchis isn't necessarily helping him in that regard. They've given him Krakoa, but he lost the Hellfire Club in the trade-off. He was excommunicated from it thanks to Wilson Fisk taking over the club from Emma Frost. And if it means working with Xavier to get it back, well, that's what he's gonna do. But that's not really the real kicker. The real kicker here is that when Sebastian Shaw comments on the killings that Xavier has committed on the island since the Hellfire Gala, Charles Xavier has no idea what he's talking about. Now, we have seen Charles unleash, and it did seem like Charles was the one who did this, that he was the one who killed these Orchis soldiers. But apparently, it wasn't entirely him. Towards the end of this issue, we see Xavier stumble into what is effectively one of Sinister's secret labs on Krakoa, more likely somewhere near and around Bar Sinister. This is the same lab that we saw Sinister operating in and out of during the events of Immortal X-Men pre-Judgment Day, even through Sins of Sinister. And you need no more evidence than the Cyclops monkey, as well as the cat and turtle that we always saw hanging around. But the thing I found the most interesting is that when Charles has seemingly stumbled upon a message from Sinister, and a message that reads, "Don't unalive yourself, please." And there's a red diamond above the message. All of this message is in blood, but the red diamond more specifically is precisely where Charles's forehead would be, where a diamond would be on Mister Sinister. This is of note because, for one, Sinister's already taken over Charles on at least 2 separate occasions prior to this moment. And we also saw after the events of Sins of Sinister that Forge was of the belief that while he believes he got rid of all of the Sinister genes in both Xavier, Emma Frost, Exodus, and Hope, it was revealed that there is the possibility that there is still a little bit of Sinister in any one of them. We know for a fact that the pit has been breached by Captain Krakoa in the Uncanny Avenger series. It seemed like he only took the Fenris twins out of the pit. We never saw Mister Sinister, and it seems like Sinister may still be down there. But the thing of note is that Sinister, if he is still down there and he is able to use his psionic capabilities to reach out to Charles, while technically no one is supposed to be able to feel or see or witness or think anything down in the pit, we know for a fact that Sabretooth was able to. Now, granted, it was largely because Cypher and Krakoa were allowing him to. It would not be out of the spectrum of possibility that Sinister is manipulating those genes from the pit and using them as a way to control Charles, and maybe do it in a way where Charles just doesn't notice it. He is stricken with grief. He's going through a lot right now, so his defenses are down. So it would probably be easier to do this now versus any other time. And it also could stand to reason that the genes themselves are manipulating, Charles in all of this. But I feel like the Sinister genes within him would not be pleading with him not to do anything. But you never know here. But I'm gonna hang my hat on the idea that Sinister is manipulating those genes from afar. But whatever the case is, it seems like Sinister X might be back. But anyway, This is everything I pretty much wanted to talk about with Immortal X-Men number 16. If you want to see more awesome videos like this one, do the YouTube thing, like, share, comment, subscribe, and make sure you tap that notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any of the multiple videos I put out throughout the week, plus my live streams every Saturday. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, let me know what you thought about Immortal X-Men number 16. Keep it plus ultra, and sound off in the comments.